Okay, let's start going through some scanners here. Starting with the 6-month scanner, let's see what we got here. Let's start with the new names. This could be setting up again slowly. Oh, sorry, it's some kind of buyout. Nice grind off the lows. I'm gonna add this to a biggest loser watch list that I have if it's not on him already. Oops. Okay. Nice move off the lows again. Need to wait for a setup in this one. Add it to a longer watch list. I already have this one. Pretty positive day considering the market was very weak. This is interesting. Keep that one on watch. We need to tighten up a little longer though. Broke out and kind of just faded back to the breakout spot. Don't really love that. I guess it could set up again, but needs more time. These Chinese names still moving off the lows. Yeah, this was interesting, but I don't really see a great setup. I'd be very surprised to see this one go higher. Five-star setup that failed. I got stopped out on the second day here. Yeah, a lot of breakouts failing, bad sign for the market. Same here. Another shipping names. The strongest shipping name, but looking weak. Another failure. Too choppy. Another leader pulling back pretty strong. Not what you want to see. Oof. CTRN, let's check it out. The scanner's done. CTRN. Yeah, it's holding up. It's coming off a bottom above the 200. Needs more time for sure, but I mean, definitely holding up better than other names at the moment. Needs more time for this to fill out, in my opinion. A little thin, good volume on the gap up. A lot of, oh, it's just one of these apparel names that was up too. There's a bunch of them. ANF, Burlington, Ayo. Yeah. How did Costco do? Walmart. I don't see a setup in it yet. XS. Yeah, this one broke out a tight range here. Maybe an hourly setup. I didn't take it. I just don't like the market weakness right now, so I'm kind of very selective. I like the way this one is setting up. Biotech name, pretty tight. 5.4 ADR. Put this one on my closer watch list. %, move off the lows. It's a bit thin, but not bad. Over the 200, 10 and 20 have caught up nicely. If this can tighten out for another week or so, good setup. Even though the market is pretty bad, it's a recent IPO. As long as it doesn't barcode here. Tested the breakout 3 times. Reclaimed above the, I like it. Looks like one of these stocks that just kind of grinds higher though. This one just keeps going. Very nice. So choppy. Seen a lot of these. I took true on here, this breakout. I sold most of it today just because the market's weak. FSM, let's take a look. Yeah, there's just no setup here. Over today's high. What's the setup though? What's your entry? Not my kind of trade. I mean, looks just like it's grinding higher. You kind of need it for it to pull back and consolidate a little longer, for it to be a valid setup. It's a nice move off the lows though. I mean, the best looking one was GFI. This one at least has a better looking setup that it's trying to form here. Even this one isn't perfect. I mean, now the 20 has caught up. It's a little better. Could kind of draw it out like this. Not my favorite either, but it's holding up pretty nicely. Building higher lows, ideally, like it goes tighter for a few days. Hop in and off the 10-day SMA. Yeah, I don't trade like that. I don't really. Maybe you've tested the strategy. I definitely haven't. I use the SMA, the 10 SMA as a stop once I'm in a proper setup. There's no proper setup here. Let's check the 1 month gainers. I'll go through the flagged ones after. Playboy off the lows. Yeah, I don't trade these little flags at the bottom. Oh, this was actually nice. I missed this. Flat base breakout. %40 move off the lows. Goes sideways. Could have used one more tight day here, but pretty solid. Maybe like a 3.5, 4-star setup. Has room to the 200. This one's holding up nicely as well. This actually was a nice EP, just because it broke over this range. I skipped this one too. I don't think much is gonna happen. Etsy in hindsight was a decent setup. Maybe like a 3.5 star. Nice support on the 10-day. Maybe if it goes sideways, a few more days. A lot of solar names pulled back today. Yeah, I saw MAT at the end of the day. I guess there was some news because it just randomly spiked like crazy. I didn't take it either. Still a bit loose, even, you know, it did work. Good volume came in. But yeah, I wanted more sideways in this. Kind of like, what a huge range intraday. Hourly pocket? I mean, that's, I don't really trade like that. It really was just a random spike on big volume. Like it was doing nothing all day and then just spiked. If this one went sideways for like a couple days, it would have been a beautiful setup. Just go through some names that I have here. Many names failing. Not a good sign. This one's holding up nicely so far. Needs time for sure, but yeah, holding up nice. Pretty big move off the lows, good volume. If the 10-day can catch up on this one, I mean, it needs like, I don't know, five more days or something, another week basically. There's no trade here yet. You can't just decide to take it over previous day highs. There's no trade. They don't always pop. I mean, it really depends. TME consolidated longer than this one. Listen, you do what you gotta do, but this is not a setup yet, in my opinion. This one too, kind of holding up really nicely. A couple tight days, maybe the 20 catches up, and then it breaks out. Putting my future mortgage on it, I wouldn't recommend it. I like this one though. Big loser on the daily. Still has a lot of room to the 200 day. This one can tighten up a little more. Not bad. I don't love how much it's pulled back, but it needs to go sideways, let it trade above the 10-day and then break out. Could be good. Ugh, I probably shouldn't have got out of this one considering it held the 200. This one needs to go sideways. I mean, if you studied a lot of setups like I have, you'll realize that you need to wait for the 10 and 20. This is like, I'm not day trading these setups, I'm swinging them. So I can show you, I mean, hundreds of examples that I have in my databases that, yeah, you definitely need to be waiting for the 10 and 20. Like they surfed them. If you just look how the stocks trade on how they surfed them very well, it makes sense. I feel like this one's gonna crack under the support. I don't think that's how it works, man. I've studied enough to know that's not how it works. Maybe you have a different setup than me. That's fine if you're just day trading them or something. I like this one too, but it's low ADR. Still made a nice move though. This is looking better. Needs time to fill out as well. Nice move off the lows here. Recent IPO, just give us a setup. Same thing here. Let's see what I got. Yeah, I mean, depends the stock. 2 weeks is ideal. Like at the least amount I'd look for is 2 weeks. But if it's like an hourly setup, it could be like, you know, 4 or 5 days too. But this is not the market where like hourly breakouts are working really well. Armed. But like, where do you buy this? You just buy this over here? Like, what's the setup? It looks just completely random. There's no entry here. It's just a stock that moved off its lows. I think this was the one. Bear flags I'm watching. I didn't take this. I just feel like some of these Bitcoin names are gonna pop hard soon. I wanted this one to be tighter. Being very selective in this market though. GME, yeah, this one ugly. I don't love bear flags that grind higher. I kind of like to see lower highs. Like if this can fill out, I would definitely short this. I took a small position in this actually. Long would be a short trade. Just because it's really beaten down. Some people do actually buy these long, but like for me, if it fills out here, I kind of want to see it build lower highs, fill out, and then break down. But it's not my favorite kind of short setup. My favorite are obvious bear flags like that I took earlier in the year, like something like this. I shorted these bear flags. Like this is just so obvious. But this is something similar that I've traded before. It breaks down from a long trend line after like having a couple failed breakouts. I took a small position short like somewhere here. And I want to see it test this like 47 at 50 area and then break lower, and I might add to it. This is like a longer term swing trade. And I would play it with like a test of the 200 weekly SMA. For reference, you can see something like FLGT that I traded back here. Basically a similar kind of setup. I don't know, it's not, it has to really break under this for me to have any confirmation of the breakdown. NVAX looks like a perpetual short. Takes up so much buying power though. Pegs, I missed this. I wanted it to fill out a little more, maybe like a couple tight days before breaking out. breaking down, sorry. A little different setup too, but it's tested this 950 level a couple times. Looks super weak. Could have a retest though, and then like have another opportunity to short it. Yeah, this one looks like a good short. Pretty tight range under all the moving averages. It's just a bit thin, not even that thin, but my target would have been like $4. This one worked so far. Plug was a decent short. This one a flat base breakdown. This has something going on here, but it's just a bit choppy. I am short this, same concept as the other one. It's a bit thin though, so I don't have a big size. SI, I didn't short it either. It's just, it might have a big flush, but just seems a little risky for me at this point. This one too is a kind of flat base. Let's see mean reversions. It's up 53% in 5 days. I would have liked to see this touch the 200. This is interesting. It's now kind of building a bear flag, although I was watching it for a mean reversion. I think this one is the best one on the list. 43% in 4 days. If it can gap down tomorrow. If it can gap down tomorrow, I'd buy the opening range highs on it, but I'm not sure if we'll get a gap down or not. It could be one of those that just grinds lower. If I need to see like 1 or 2 days of big selling, and then I want to buy the opening range highs if it takes it out. This one had a huge fucking down move today. I like the look of this one. 33% in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. Maybe it gaps down to $9, something. Yeah, this one looks like it's gonna flush even harder. I think this one's just too thin. Although there was one that made a crazy move recently. What was the ticker? Boy, I can't remember it. And I don't know. It might pop up in this scan. Let's see. Which stocks did 20% in the last 5 days? Oh, this one here. This was a SPAC before, but it had a huge move down, and then on the second day took out the opening range highs. If you would have bought this, wow. Actually, the entry was here, around 250. Could have bought this too. Crazy risk reward on this. I don't know how I missed this setup. This is very thin though. Same concept here, but nice move down. I think I would buy if it gapped down really strong, but it's very thin again. I don't know. I'll add it to my watch list. It could be just one that grinds lower. Stock looks like it's going to zero. Wow, ugly chart. Put together a list of stocks that are like the biggest losers of the past 2 years, pretty much. Because when bear markets are over, the ones that make the biggest moves are usually these beaten down names off the lows, and then they set up. My God, I remember buying this here. Nasty moves. Missed this bear flag as well. Nice 50-cent move already. Would have been 25-cent risk. 2-to-1 risk already. Not bad. This one too could give a setup. Also needs more time, but it's holding up okay so far. Wow. Yeah, this one needs work now after pulling back. Unfortunate. And our XP actually is doing something. A really nice move off the low so far. Definitely needs work, but I'm gonna keep it on watch. Some of these biggest losers are going to be the one that go crazy once this bear market is over. So I want to be ready for that. I've studied the past bear markets and that's what happens. You can have 3,000, 1,000 to 10,000% moves really in some of these stocks. This can build higher lows and get tighter. Break over the 200. Yeah. Stocks can go to zero. I hope people remember that. Yeah, I like this one too. 384% move off the lows. It's a big beaten down name. It needs to fill out though. Like the ones that don't fill out, they could break out, but they always end up pulling back. 50% pop in one day. Yeah, it would be nice. I'd take that. It's a huge ADR right now because of this move up. It's a little thin, but yeah, for a penny stock especially. It could make a nice move though. I'm gonna keep it on watch. You know, when there's not a lot of trades in the market, like it's just not a good time to be trading. Most of the breakouts you're gonna take are gonna end up failing. This is the most recent one I tried over here. Already stopped out. You know, it's under the 200 day too, so I took small size on it, but I'm gonna stick to these bear flags for now until they stop working pretty much. Been a boring year, I guess. You know, if you're only trading bear flags, or not that many good bear flag setups. Jesus, this arc. I mean, how low is this gonna go? This is exactly what I'm looking for in MOS and RCMT. Not exactly the same, but kind of similar. I did test out an option trade today. I've been testing out some lower time frame trades. Let's see what I did here. Yeah, I shorted this bear flag using puts. I definitely sold them early, but like took 30% on them, called it a day. And I shorted NCLH. Yeah, NCLH. Just as a day trade. I didn't feel like swinging this, but if you look at the daily, breaking under the support level, but it still has support from its moving averages, so I didn't really want to hold it. A lot of my trades work on different time frames as well, so I'm slowly testing them out, but I don't really love scalping. It's just, you know, you're just like fighting for pennies, I find. But in this market, like, yeah, it definitely works. I'd rather make dollars though than fight for pennies. Might as well do a bit of studying then, since there's not much and new trade-wise. Really, the only things that interest me are these mean reversions. FTCH probably looks best after this big move down. I think 1 or 2 more days of selling, this could really pop. How far can you get intraday? I don't know. It's like 1,500 bars or something. It's a few days. I don't trade using TC2000, but I just use it for charting. This is looking decent though. You know, maybe 1 or 2 more days sideways. Building these higher lows. I mean, the more sideways, the better for sure. I think I'm gonna go through 2018, some 2018 setups. Let me just send this link out. TC2000 is like one of the best charting softwares I think right now. It's a bit old technology, but it works pretty well. I've been doing a lot of studying this year just because when this is over, I think there's going to be some, you know, whenever a bull market emerges from a pretty long bear market, there's usually a lot of setups that happen not long after. What I do to scan for breakouts in a certain time frame Jesus. If this can like build lower highs and base, then breakout, it wouldn't be bad. The SPY looks better. Pretty clean fail here. Anyways. Can I TC scanner on a specific day in history? You can custom date, but it only goes back to 2007. I'm pretty sure. But so like if I do 2018 here, I do a global scan that scans for like a minimum liquidity, and then what I'll do, do I usually add a condition to this? You can add ADR to it, but what I'm just gonna do instead is I apply this. I don't need this, don't need this. And then you go on custom date sort here. And then I'll take the whole year of 20, oops, that's not 2018. Something like this, 2018 to 2019. Like that. Then you go sort, add column. And then what I'll do is I'll sort it by what stocks had the biggest gainers in that year. And then I'll just go through them like that. And this will give you like the best breakout setups normally for that year. Like you can see from 20, like it had a 1,427% change in that year. So you can just look for setups. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this one was probably too thin for me to trade. This one was tough, just grinded higher. Yeah, you can go through every stock. I've done that a few times too. I still always scan for like a minimum liquidity just because you're gonna get a lot of garbage. This was very hard to find an entry on. Sometimes these stocks just grind higher. Even here it was a bit tight, like this is okay. Not super tight, but you know, considering it made a 560% move pretty much in like a month and a half. It's not bad. And this was even a little tighter. I probably would have traded it just because of how big the move was off the lows. But probably with smaller size. I mean, you would have, if you buy here, maybe you get in like 1850. Stop under the lows. You have about a 75-cent stop. It's a good risk reward. Has volume. Okay volume. A 10 caught up. Do you like the beak of high on the gap up days? I don't know what that means. Actually, let me screenshot it like this. I'll take out the high of that day. I mean, I usually play an EP on the first day. I look at the opening range highs on the EP day, depending on the volume and the earnings or whatever the news was. If not, if I don't get in the same day, I look for it. I don't look for it necessarily to take out the highs of the first day. I'll look for it to consolidate a little longer and, you know, build like a little range and then a breakout of the range. I don't really necessarily take it out of the breakout of the high. Like a gap up like this here. I would have liked it to get tighter, honestly, but maybe I would have taken it over something like this. Doesn't have to take out the highs necessarily. It's like a momentum setup, although the volume wasn't like that crazy on the gap up day. So I might have skipped it just because of the volume. Would have worked out, but yeah. Sometimes when the volume's not great, I'll skip it for these gap up type setups. I don't really see a point in waiting for the highs. I feel like the high on those failed EP days have a bunch of shorts sitting there with stops. It could be. It could be. I don't really see that as a short squeeze setup. This is okay. I like the tightness before the breakout, even though it's a little choppy. You get these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, basically. Just not a great trading stock. Would have been tough to stay in here. Let's see it on the weekly, actually. Oh, it's in 2019 anyways. Okay, never mind. No, it's not. What the hell? Oh, these charts are annoying sometimes. Pretty clean on the weekly. Doesn't stop you out. Breaks out over the 200 weekly. Kind of rides the 10-day. You might have got stopped out. Maybe here. Probably would have been all out right here. Oops. 141%. I mean, it's still a decent setup. Definitely give you enough tightness, and the 20 and 10 caught up. It was up, what? 116%? Yeah. Yeah, this is a decent setup. Probably like a 4-star setup. Would have been tough to hold it through everything. Maybe you sell some like up here after 5 days. So you can kind of hold a little more, but this 2 is not bad. A little high tide flag, but not a long enough consolidation. U? What is U doing? An EP? Why do you say that? It gapped up overnight? Let me check. I didn't see any gap up on it. Gapping up to $34. Is it just not showing on? No, I don't see any gap up on it. I don't see a gap up after hours. I mean, if it did, yeah, That'd be nice. If it gapped up to like $35, that's a nice range breakout. I would definitely take it, but yeah. Oh yeah, sometimes those thin names have like tricky spreads, and after hours they kind of fluctuate, but yeah, never really gapped up. Not a great setup. A lot of stocks just grinding higher in 2018. No real great entry. This is interesting. Maybe, but not super tight here. I don't know how I feel about this. Looks a bit loose. It's not bad, but my cat won't shut up. I think it's notable. I'll at least make a note of it. It reminds me of quite a few setups actually. Even MGNX kind of looking like this right now, although it broke down from here. This would have been tough to buy. Guess you could draw something like this as well. You could have bought any of these 3 days and all got stopped out. What the hell is this? This is a decent setup. Three tight days kind of here. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Could have been a little tighter, but what is this? 54% move off the lows. 10 and 20 catch up. It's in a fairly tight range, building these higher lows before breaking out. It's about 2 weeks, 3 weeks of consolidation. Thanks for coming. Oh, this one just grinded higher. That's the thing. Sometimes you get in a name if you stay in it long enough. Nah, there's no way you would have been able to stay in this though. Probably get stopped out here if you're even trading the weekly. Look at this monthly breakout. That's actually kind of nice. I mean, this one's just valid for how tight it was before the breakout happened. You have a gap up. This is more like a momentum burst setup, whatever you want to call it, but I wouldn't consider it a flag breakout. Maybe a high tight flag, but we got 6 days of consolidation. Yeah, it's a momentum burst setup. I'm gonna screenshot it, but just grinded. No setup. Okay, this one was so thin, but holy shit. Look at this. Too thin though. Another one that just grinded. There was an entry at the lows here. This is a much nicer setup in 2019. Hard to get in stocks that just grind up. Yeah, this is an hourly setup. Look at this. And then another one here. This is a 5-star setup. Look how tight this gets. These higher lows. Even if it didn't play out as well, it's a nice setup. This is a great EP here. It was already flagging, building these higher lows. 10 and 20 caught up, and then it gapped up over the range. Not a huge gap up, but above average volume. I would have taken it just because it broke out of this range. Yeah, you maybe get stopped out on the 20. Oh, that's too bad. I guess you buy it back. It's a decent looking setup here. Really tight. 10, 20 catch up, 50's catching up. Tested it a couple times. Especially that it recovered this day here and then broke out. Never would have stopped you out at the lows here. I mean, yeah, for it's a decent risk reward setup. Probably get stopped out here, here, or here. Still very low risk for a 20%, 25% gain. You don't always get 100% gains. Definitely a valid setup. The longer you hold it, the better, I guess. Let's see the weekly on this. The weekly, if you trailed with the 20, although you're most likely trailing with the 10, you still would have gotten stopped here. Yeah, too choppy to hold through. Unfortunately. So hard to buy these that just grind higher. Possible entry here. Not a 5-star, but you at least get this one day before the breakout. Very hard to buy that though. Yeah, tough. Very choppy stock. Oh, this is a nice setup here. That's so tight before the breakout. 60% gap, I'll move up. Does not get much tighter than this. What is this? How long is this consolidation? Three and a half weeks. Yeah. You gotta take setups like this. Even though it's a little thin, you don't have a couple $1 million account, should be fine. Actually held the 10-day very nicely the whole time. Tested below it, but never really closed below it, maybe on this day. So you probably get stopped out here. 63%. Yeah, pretty nice trade. Very low risk, just because the entry is so tight. You could take bigger size on it with a tight entry like that. Realistically, you're buying 731. If you have an 11-cent stop, I mean 11 cents if you're risking 1% of your account. Let's say you have a, even if you have a $10,000 account, you're risking $100. You risk $100 on the trade, which means you have 1,000 shares. A 1,000 shares, and you stop out at, let's say you stop out at 12 bucks. Yeah, that's very nice. if you held the whole time. I mean, that's yeah, you definitely would have sold some. Maybe it's just grinding higher here, so there's no reason to sell. But maybe around 10 bucks you sell some when you see a little bit of pullback. You sell a third and then you hold the rest through. So let's say you make, I don't know, $3,500 on the trade. You committed how much percent to your account? You committed 7,000. Oh, that's a bit big for a $10,000 account. If you committed 70% of your account, that's a little crazy. You probably have to cap it at like 50%. Either way, you can have like a 25% gain on your total account here. Too bad you got stopped out because Jesus. Can you imagine having held through this somehow? Even this was a decent setup. Let's see on the weekly. Can you have held on the weekly? Why the fuck does it go back? Oh yeah, the weekly 10. The weekly 10. I think after holding it for so long, if you use the weekly, it's probably better. The weekly 10 would have stopped you out at $21. Even if you had a third left of the trade. From 731. You make about, I don't know, 13 bucks. Let's say $12 on the trade. If you had a third left from 1,000 shares, what's a third of 1,000? 333 shares. Times $12, it's another 4K on a $10,000 account. You could literally double your account on one trade. It's kind of disgusting. That's why tightness is so important. I already took a screenshot, okay. Let's take a screenshot of the weekly though. Okay. Very nice. I don't see a great trade here. There's definitely an EP here. You might have got stopped out. Let's see. If you put your stop low a day, it didn't close below, but if you had a hard stop, you would have been stopped out, unfortunately. But then it does get pretty tight here. Could have bought it again. Right here. It's all right. I like to make note of these two, these momentum setups. This is the only other setup I can see, but 25% up. I guess if you take into consideration this big move here, I don't know how. The only validity to the setup is because of how tight it gets right here. It's interesting. I don't like that it wasn't building higher lows. I mean, we've been so fucking lucky to catch this right before this huge volume day. Although if you saw it gap, if you were paying attention to this and it gapped over, no, the gap wasn't even big. it's possible to have this on your radar, and then you took it when you saw it getting tight here. Let's look at it on the weekly. Yeah, I don't love the weekly either. This is maybe like a 3-star setup just because it wasn't that tight. Probably would have skipped it realistically. Talk about an EP. Jesus. Somebody definitely knew something here. That's some aggressive buying with no selling. You buy the opening range highs. Wow. If you would have somehow bought this before the breakout, that would have made your month, maybe year. Okay, so this one was a recent IPO at the time. This is a valid setup here. But the 10-day catch up, it gets fairly tight considering the ADR would have been a little higher here. It would have been over 5 for sure. This is even another little momentum setup after a gap up. Not perfect, but very tight, breaking out of a very, very tight range. I find these are so hard to buy. You kind of just have to get into it when they grind up like this. I mean, this is kind of valid too. Considering it's a recent IPO, I think this is the first real buyable setup here. Probably could have stayed in it after this day. You see it kind of reclaimed really nicely. You also have a decent cushion in it. And then it puts in this little flag, not a 5-star, just because it's a little loose, but coming after a big move, it's still a nice flag. Another one here. Flag after flag after flag. I bet this one looks really good on the hourly too. You would have liked to see some tighter days, but considering the ADR at the time, it's not bad. I would say this is the best setup. Breaking over IPO like recent highs. If you study IPOs, you know that that's pretty powerful. Let's see on the weekly what it looks like. Wow. Yeah, the weekly looks much better. These two setups here. If you would just trail this with the weekly, let's say you bought it 10 bucks, you have a stop of 975-ish. Even if you trailed with a 10 weekly, I mean, you probably take some profits once it takes out, just like engulfing. You probably get all out there. I mean, you could wait here, even it's still valid. Very nice move. Always good to look at the weekly. I know Kulamagi's been looking at the weekly as well quite a bit. It just takes out a lot of the noise and those little moves that might stop you out. You can hold for a bigger move. Is there a setup here somewhere? I mean, this is so tight. I just don't know if this would be on the radar even. Maybe. It's nice on the weekly. 10 weekly catches up really nicely. It's a longer consolidation. What is this? 5-6 months. A little different, but I think it fits the requirements. I mean, just here it's up 80% in a month, 2 months. Does consolidate, eventually starts building these really nice higher lows in a really tight range. Volume is okay. Then it breaks out over this tight range, which coincides with the 50 on the daily chart. I mean, entry could have been like anywhere between 1650 and 1750-ish. You put a stop under 1650. Even if you were trailing with a 10 on the daily, you'd probably get stopped out here. Still a decent trade though. Using the weekly, probably could have held this a lot longer. Ah, this is a bad pullback. Unfortunate. It's still interesting. Wouldn't call it a 5-star setup, but there's definitely a setup. Here as well. Yeah, this is a good setup. Pretty tight. Could have used one more day for sure, but kind of gapped up a little bit and took out the range. So I think it's valid here. Maybe a 4-star. 5-star would have been if it got tighter and let the 20 really catch up. Maybe get stopped out here. Not 100% sure. Kind of puts in another little flag here. Fairly tight, but only, well, it's still 2 weeks of consolidation, so it's not bad. Yeah, one of those again, that if you look at the weekly, I'm sure is better. Oh. Use the 10 weekly on this. Maybe you get stopped out here. Definitely get stopped out here. Entry was somewhere here. It's very nice. This would have been tough to buy. Definitely a hourly setup more than anything. Let's go look at it on the hourly. What is this? January, beginning of January 2018. Is that it? No, a little bit before. Oh yeah. Very nice on the hourly. Fairly tight range before breaking out. I mean, you could have even took it here over 19, sorry. Bang. I think this made the most sense. you bought this at 19, Jesus. It's also very good to recognize hourly setups just because when there's momentum in a stock, the hourly is a nice indicator. This is a valid setup just because it got tight here. It's a fairly long consolidation. Tried to break out a few times, let the 10 and 20 catch up before breaking out. Not as typical as people might think. There's just this is lacking. It's not a big move up. Might not even have popped up on scans. The result is nice, but I'm not sure if it would have popped up anywhere. Maybe, because it did make a 30% move in a little over a month. See what else we got. Decent setup. Not sure if I would have bought it off the lows. Hey, Charlie. You joined. I don't have to talk to myself. My cat is crying in the background though. This is actually a nice hourly setup. Let's go see this on the hourly. It's May 2018. What is that ticker? NSTG. With this right here. Yeah, this is a nice hourly setup for sure. I think the daily setup is still valid though here. Coming off of lows though, under the 200, I like to buy them when they're already above the 200. is this? 3, 6, 7, 8. 13-day consolidation. You got about two weeks. It still fits the prerequisites. 10 caught up. It would have been like a lot better if the 20 caught up. Still a good setup though. Hopefully this didn't stop you out. What a hard stop. Probably would have. It's kind of disgusting. Then flags again. Really holds the 10-day nicely though. If you got in from the first entry, you get stopped out about here. 40%-ish gain. Yeah, not bad. Screenshot this hourly setup. Just grinding higher. Nothing super actionable. Actually, this is the only actionable setup. 46% in, oh, that's in 2019 though. Okay, I'll leave it be. But that's nice. Actually, I missed it, so I might as well screenshot it. There is this, but it's a little loose in my opinion. Okay. Definitely could have bought after the EP right here. Hey. More of a momentum burst setup, I would say, but this is definitely valid. Look how tight that is. You have a gap up on big volume, kind of fails the EP, reclaims, tests out near the highs, lets the 10-day catch up, gets really tight for, what is it, 6-7 days, breaks out. You sell a bit after. Yeah, I do like those setups a lot. Especially last year. 2020 and last year I took a ton of those momentum setups on the intraday ones. Like, you just can't ignore them. I'll just show you, like, I think on my website I even have a few examples of those. Yeah, you definitely should. Hourly is the most powerful. I wouldn't do the 1 minute. I do the 5 and the 15. The 1 minute is tough. I intraday trade with the 5 minute and the 15 normally. Stuff like this that was happening. This one, I remember when it was. Yeah, I doubt he does the 1 minute anymore, if I'm honest. He's trying to go on higher and higher. I don't think he ever looks at the 1 minute anymore. This was one of those. I don't remember when this was. Is this I was on team, I think, QNRX. This must have been in 2021. Yeah, definitely 2021 sometime. No, the only reason I'm saying he doesn't use it is valid, but he doesn't use he tries to use longer and longer time frames as he goes on. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you could always use the 1 minute. I just find the 5 minutes is a bit cleaner. The 1 minute is kind of like hard to follow. If you look at this one here, I took this one as an EP just because the volume was way too good. But yeah, these flags build all the time. HKD, bro. I was looking at HKD. I was stalking this trade, and I was like, this is just too thin. This is, it's gonna do some crazy shit, and it did do crazy shit. But I think I would have made 2 years worth of money in this one trade. This is so tight. Look how tight this is, man. The 60-minute. It doesn't look good on the daily, but look at that result. Yeah, HKD is like a perfect. This is the extreme example. Like, you're not gonna get this, but then again, if you traded like that, bro, my cat wants attention. Come here. I'm not playing now. You're such a needy cat. When I was trading these intraday, for some reason I didn't screenshot all of them, so I don't have a huge database of them, but I have some. I think in 2021 I traded so many of these, it was ridiculous. I started off day trading. I can, yeah. But it's just annoying on Trader Workstation. You can kind of use like whatever time frame you want and just like change the date here. The charting software on this sucks ass though. You also have to trade intraday setups. Like, you can't just I find it's easier to study like swing trading setups. I've been practicing some intraday setups. You can see here, traded this options, some options. Just looking at like intraday bear flags on the 5-minute. Traded this today. Yeah, that one, those I traded really well. Like, those were insane. But I traded them all on the 5-minute technically. Like intraday setups were all on the 5-minute. Like, my entries are all on the 5-minute. This one wasn't as good as INDO though. We can go take a look though. What's the date on this? March 7th. March 7th. Look at the 15-minute chart on this. You don't have to look at the 5. I mean, you can look at whatever time frame you want, but look at this. I mean, this is like picture perfect. But like I said, I bought the EP on that one, right? Where is it? I treated it like an EP, I believe, yeah. My entry was $3.73. I bought 1,000 shares. I sold 250 up here. 373. I literally bought right here somewhere. What did it go to? Oh, just a casual. Just went to $17 in 2 days. If I held the whole way up, what is that? 1,000 to casual $14,000 in 2 days. Yeah, why not? BPTH, let's go see. BPTH March on 2019, March 7th on 2019. Okay. H. March 7th. Why do you look at the 1 minute though? Like it gives you the same shit in my opinion, just less noise. Like yeah, I would have bought this right here for sure. $27. 27, yeah, 27-ish. Oh my god, beautiful. We can look at the 1 minute, let's see. Stupid fucking software. Okay, I see what you mean. Once you start trading these though, you'll get used to it for sure. I'm assuming you haven't traded them in real time. Like, look how it looks the same. Let me change the date here. Yeah, that's fine. You're gonna learn pretty quick. I mean, you have a good base for it already. Okay, look at the 1 minute. So what the entry on the 1 and the 15 is literally the exact same. I find the 1 kind of like fakes you out a little more than the 5 or the 15. Like the 5 is just as clean here. You can clearly see the higher lows build and then, you know, break out. When I first started trading, I traded on the 1 minute as well. You can draw it like this. I mean, yeah, it looks the exact same. Let's look at the 5 minute. Yeah, it's just what you prefer visually. Like for me, visually, the 5 is very clean. Even if you're gonna use the 1, I would use the 3 over the 1. The 3 is actually cleaner. What is the gap up here? You get that 61% gap up. It has news, volume, blah, blah, blah. You're just looking for that flag, intraday flag. I mean, even something like this. There were so many of these happening. I can't wait for this market to come back like this. Depends. I mean, you can always, if you think it has that much Momo, you trade it like an EP. But how does, like, where don't you see the setup right here? Is this not valid to you? Okay, let me just add you to the Discord so we can talk. It's much easier. Hold on, I'm gonna go take a piss and I'll call you. All right. You living in a college dorm or what? Looking for Q setups on the weekly. What does it have to do with the weekly chart though? And you're just the 1 minute and the 5 minutes show the same thing. It's building higher lows. It's flagging, good volume. Intraday, I look for volume especially. You have confirmation volume on the breakout at this next candle. It looks the exact same as the 1 minute. They do show the same thing. It just gives you a different perspective. It's the same. This is the exact same bullshit for me. I can't remember the last time I used the 1 minute chart, to be honest. Different look, yeah, but it's not only about the look. You have to look at other factors as well. Like intraday, this would have been like a big move up, pulled back, I use VWAP only as an intraday indicator. Pulled back under VWAP, it's broken over it. It's looking to retest where it's failed here, where it's failed here. Once it pulls back like this and then keeps the higher low in place, I'm looking to buy it. I mean, I don't care what time. Like even the 15-minute is very clean. This is actually the cleanest time frame, I think. Okay, what about the 15? Yes, we do have different eyes, I believe. I think once you start trading them, you'll come to see the same thing, I think. This is actually, can I do it with VWAP? Hold on. This is March 7th, we said. Yeah, March 7th, 2019. Let's see if I do it here. Okay. I kind of just surfed VWAP intraday. Yeah, I mean, I just see it on the 5 minutes so much better. 1 minute looks good. Like all the time frames look good here. You have another example? Yes. No, I understand, and I used to feel the same way. I used to feel the same way looking at the weekly charts as you, like finding the setups on the weekly chart. But for now, like now, it comes a lot more naturally to me, just because I've actually traded them, like intraday, and even those weekly setups I've traded. So like I can kind of spot them a lot easier. At a certain point, you like just once you start trading them, you see them a lot better. Pull out another example if you have it. Let's go through this one actually. What's this date? 3/7. Oh yeah, we did this one already. Okay. Nile 11/3, 11/3/20. Also, I tend to trade on multiple time frames, so I'll have like the 15-minute chart here and the 5-minute chart there. 11/3/20. 20. Okay. Why isn't it popping up? Oops. Are you sure that's the right date? Oh yeah, okay, here. Why isn't it working on my software? This trader workstation is just so bad. Oh wait, you're telling me the wrong date, I think. Or I'm putting in the wrong date. What is this? Or do you mean November 23rd, 2020? Okay. All good. November 23rd. Okay, well it doesn't matter because my software sucks. Maybe I can get it on the hourly just to see. Interactive brokers. If you have a screenshot of it, send it to me in Discord. I can open it up. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, this is HUSA, yeah, HUSA. Yeah, this one we already established, beautiful. Send me the Nile setup. Yeah, nice. This is the 5 minute, and this is, oh, this is the 5 minute, okay, yeah. Five minute again. This one went a little bit harder to get into. Nice volume though. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely really good because of the volume as well. But really, like this, for me, this one looks like a opening range high setup. Once it pulls back here, these are the 5 minute candles, right? Yeah. So you got 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 45 minutes of consolidation and then breaks over the highs. I would have bought this more as an opening range highs setup. But yeah, you could have bought the flag as well. But the opening range highs work on the intraday time frames as well. For these big volume names, you have huge volume right at the open, pulls back, yeah, you put a stop order on the highs, and then your stop is low a day. Once it breaks out, you raise your stop to break even. You just keep raising your stop pretty much. What did it go up to, Niall? Oh wow, we should go look here. Jesus Christ, that's so choppy. Wow, it went on the same day, went to $8 and then 11. Yeah, you definitely hold a little overnight, maybe like a third overnight in this case, just because it's an intraday setup. After this gap up and it fails, you're definitely selling it, but very nice. Yeah, the second setup up top is very nice. Sorry, I didn't see it. Yeah. Very nice setup. This one is actually technically a better setup than this one. But yeah. A lot of these tend to squeeze into the after hours as well. But like I said, yeah, the real setup for me is opening range highs. It would have depend, like you could always treat these like an EP if the volume is insane, because a lot of times you won't actually get a chance to enter, and it's still a fairly decent risk reward on it. This is the result, yeah. Yeah, this is sick. Where's the, which one's a different day? Okay, Monday, Tuesday, okay. Yeah, this flag is perfect. You sell some before the close, you know, maybe when it takes out this bar, you sell some at 750 and you can swing the rest. You swing at the gap up, I mean, you sell some either pre-market or at the open, you sell like a little portion as well. And once it does this, I mean, you just get out. Maybe at this bounce you get out. It's rare that it will do this and then recover completely. But yeah, you can see how perfect this flag is, the higher lows and everything. You get a nice risk reward. You don't have to buy. I like your buy here. Really nice. You don't have to do that. You can wait for the break, but yeah, this gives you a nice tighter stop. This is why I don't have a cat. Yeah, she's great. She just wants me to play with her. No, I like that you're studying these setups though. You're definitely fucking committed. I love it. Once you start trading these intraday, I'm gonna help you out. I've traded so many of these. 2K in real database is very nice. Dude, as soon as you start trading, I will hold your hand, because I'm actually good at the executions and the intraday trading. And yeah, you've definitely studied enough. Show me, give me another one. $3K, that is before you do a single trade. You're fucking nuts. There's two things that I think you need to do though. You need to study and you need to execute. If you're not executing, your studying it's good, but like when you're actually executing things, you learn as well. And you just have to be willing to take some losses, because your executions are not going to be perfect in the beginning, and you know that's where the psychological factors come into play as well, where like you're okay, I hope so. Sometimes like I just jumped into trading and like made a bunch of mistakes and learned as I went. VLTC. If you have the screenshot already, just send it, it's easier. Hourly, okay. Let's see. 65-minute, what is that? We're just doing flags? Yeah, pretty much. If you go early in the stream, I did other setups as well, but yeah. Let me check the daily on this too. VLTC, this is 2017, you said? No, 2015. Oh, it's not even gonna have it on TC. VLTC, is it delisted? Yeah. Yep, Kulamagi style. Now we're going through some intraday ones as well that fit his style. That's a good point. These are momentum Kulamagi styles where he trades flags on the hourly as well as intraday. That's cool. You can go through the whole stream if you want after. This is an okay flag. This one is obviously perfect. Maybe a bit extended at this point, but extended is always relative. The volume is still good. So this is... Yeah, it is worth a shot. If you can get a tight stop on it, it's worth a shot. Although, Charlie, you can send him the link to the KJ's Discord if you want. This is the daily. Let's see. I like this setup here on the daily. I wouldn't call this as... Yeah, it doesn't look as good as on the daily. Not enough consolidation, even on the hourly. I need a few days. It doesn't look as good on the hourly setup here. Stop. This one would have been tougher to buy up here without a decent consolidation, just because it's already quite extended. Oh, do you have the result for this one? Let's see. Yeah, I guess extended is relative, eh? This is a nice base here. Yeah. My entry would have been probably a little different. Probably would have been something like around here. Yeah, right here over these candles. Stop under here. The only thing I don't like about it is that, oh no, actually I do like it because it's at the beginning of the day. If it would have been, if this breakout would have happened towards the end of the day, I would have been maybe a little less inclined, just because you have that overnight risk involved. But yeah, the momentum is just insane on this. This is probably the cleanest entry. But this here, yeah, I traded BKKT for sure. I don't think I have a screenshot of it though. Let me go see if I can find, what day was that, the BKKT? No, I know. It's just that I want the screenshot would have been nice to have. This is nice. This on the hourly must have been fucking nice. Let's go see. Can I go that far back? No. D-Walk? I don't remember if I actually caught D-Walk. I don't think I caught D-Walk. No, I definitely didn't. But BKKT, I 100% traded this. This is October 25th. Let's go see. Let's do the hourly and let's do the 5 minute. October, I'll do this. Okay. Bro, it happens. I think in 2021, I did 100%, or no, sorry, I did about 70% in October to January. I did 70%. And I actually did 50% in the first 3 months of 2022 and then gave all of it back. We said 25th. Yeah, all. If I would tell you how much that was in dollar amounts, you would throw up. But I will leave that to my private self. I went a little crazy. But yeah, this is very nice here. Very, very nice. I would have drawn maybe something like this. This is, you just have to find an entry here. This is beautiful. Lower highs. Maybe something like this. Maybe you take it here and get stopped out. You get stopped out here, and then you retake it. Once it reclaims, builds, it confirms this lower high. There's nothing wrong with getting stopped out intraday as well. Like you take it, you're risking. Yeah, you find pump and dumps from like the beginning of time, and 2000 I think had the most pump and dumps on record. It was insane. Once it builds these higher lows, let me fix this a little bit though. Not sure how I would have drawn this exactly. Maybe something like this. And then once you see this, this is the telltale that it's gonna explode. Once you see this. Once you see this little, these 4 candles here, volume is still good. It is hard for the entry, but the higher lows are very convincing. You love to see this on the intraday charts. Once you see that, bang, good volume on the breakout. Now this is just gravy. Yeah, the second flag is picture perfect. Now the only thing is, are you gonna buy this at 340 at the end of the day? To answer your question, yes, you are. I tend to, I for a while was trading these even with the flags at the end of the day, and I would sell a bunch of it after hours. I'm definitely trimming this into the end of the day. I actually remember buying this flag. I 100% bought this flag. Yeah, I always pay attention to this, but I remember buying this. I remember buying this around 25 and then selling this. I sold like a quarter before the close and then sold a bit after hours. And then I actually, if I remember correctly, I always put wish orders on for like pre-market. And I don't remember what my wish order was, but it got filled, most of it pre-market. And then, yeah, you get stopped out the rest. But let's look at it on the hourly. This one's not as clean on the hourly. It would have been tough to buy this on the hourly. Yeah, this one was really like, you could buy this on the hourly. Actually, pretty clean. Wish order, I mean, I put it at a random price. I hope it will get to pre-market. And if it gets filled, it gets filled. I put like a limit order pre-market. Yeah. This is actually the only hourly setup you can buy. It's the same one as, well, actually your entry isn't as good. And you only made 40%. Oh no. Yeah, this is nice. But I mean, you get such a better entry here on the 5-minute. Your entry, like it spikes very hard. So unless you have, like, even if you have a stop market order, you're gonna get filled. Like you're not gonna get filled at exactly the price you want, but it's fairly liquid. If you put your order 25.50. Yeah, that's how I got 100% gain in fucking, I don't know, 4 months or whatever, 3 months. You got another one? Oh, you're going to bed. All right. If you want to go some intraday setups, though, I like doing that too. It's a good reminder of what's to come. Peace out. Sounds good. You're watching me. You can follow me on Twitter if you want. I post free watch lists and stuff. Day trades are us. If you're looking for education and mentorship, I have a website. I have a Discord there as well, but I'm mostly focused on education. I teach some of Q's setups and some of my own. I'm going to end the stream here as well. Been a couple hours. If you have any... Oh, he didn't send a Discord link? Let me see if I can get it for you. It's not my server, so I don't know if I can invite people. I'll send you who you can follow on Twitter, and he can send it to you. He's basically one of the. I don't stream every day, but I'm thinking about streaming more often. If you follow me on Twitter, I'll send you my Twitter link. You can, I'll post when I'm going live and stuff, so. That's my Twitter link. Alright, man, have a good night. Thanks for watching. Message me if you have any questions on Twitter.